Christmas truth. She suspected me, but I proved the lies and our love survived. Seeds of suspicion. Nadia Karimi stood by the window of their shared apartment, watching the December snow fall softly on the Tehran streets below. The city sparkled with early Christmas decorations, but her heart felt heavy with unease. Behind her, Amir Hassan sat on the couch, his phone pressed to his ear, his voice low and secretive. "I'll handle it tomorrow," he murmured, glancing at Nadia before turning away. "Yes, she can't know yet. It has to be perfect." The words struck Nadia like ice. She can't know yet? Her hands trembled as she gripped her coffee cup. For weeks now, Amir had been different, distant, distracted, always with some excuse about work deadlines or client meetings. His architectural firm was busy, yes, but this felt like something more. When he ended the call, she turned to face him. Who was that? "Just work, Habibti," Amir said, offering a tired smile. "A difficult client who keeps changing their design." Nadia wanted to believe him. She desperately wanted to ignore the gnawing feeling in her gut, but her past haunted her. 3 years ago, her ex-fiancé had used the same words, "just work," while carrying on an affair with his colleague. The betrayal had shattered her ability to trust easily. "You've been taking a lot of calls lately," she said carefully, searching his dark eyes for truth. "And coming home late almost every night." Amir's expression softened with concern. He crossed the room and took her hands in his. "Nadia, I know this month has been crazy. I promise it'll calm down after the holidays. You know December is our busiest season." She nodded, but the doubt remained, coiling around her heart like winter frost. That evening, while Amir showered, his phone buzzed on the nightstand. Nadia hesitated, her conscience battling curiosity. Finally, she glanced at the screen. A message from an unknown number, confirmed for Saturday. "She'll be amazed." Nadia's breath caught. The phone slipped from her trembling fingers back onto the nightstand. Who would be amazed? Another woman? The thought made her stomach twist painfully. Later that week, Nadia stopped by Amir's favorite coffee shop during her lunch break from the art gallery. Through the window, she saw him sitting across from a young woman with long dark hair, laughing at something she said. The woman reached across the table, touching his hand briefly, and Amir didn't pull away. Nadia left before they could see her, tears blurring her vision as she walked back to work. That night, she barely spoke to Amir, and he noticed her coldness but seemed unsure how to bridge the growing distance between them. The next morning, while sorting laundry, Nadia found a receipt in Amir's jacket pocket. Her heart sank as she read it. Exclusive jewelers, diamond pendant, $3,200. She'd received no jewelry from him. Christmas was approaching, but her December birthday had passed 2 weeks ago without any expensive gift. "For whom did you buy this, Amir?" She wondered, her eyes filling with tears as suspicion transformed into something darker and more painful. The breaking point. 3 days before Christmas, Nadia could no longer contain the storm brewing inside her heart. She had spent sleepless nights replaying every suspicious moment, every unexplained absence, every secretive phone call. The evidence felt overwhelming, and the pain of potential betrayal was suffocating her. Amir arrived home that evening carrying his laptop bag, his face showing exhaustion from another long day. He smiled when he saw her, but Nadia couldn't return the warmth. She stood in the living room, arms crossed, her expression carefully guarded. "We need to talk," she said, her voice barely steady. Amir's smile faded. He set down his bag slowly, reading the tension in her posture. "Nadia, what's wrong? Who is she?" The question escaped her lips like a knife, sharp and cutting. Amir blinked, confusion clouding his features. "Who is who? What are you talking about?" "The woman you were with at the cafe last week. The one you've been buying expensive jewelry for. The one you can't stop talking to on the phone." Nadia's voice cracked despite her efforts to remain composed. "I saw the receipt, Amir. I saw you with her. I heard you say she can't know yet." Understanding dawned on Amir's face, followed immediately by panic. "Nadia, wait, let me explain." "Explain what?" "That I'm a fool." Tears streamed down her cheeks now, hot and bitter. That I trusted you when I swore I'd never trust anyone again after what happened before. You promised me, Amir. You promised you were different. Amir stepped forward, reaching for her, but she stepped back. The rejection visible hurt him deeply. Habibti, please. You don't understand the situation. I'm not. Don't call me that. Nadia's voice rose, breaking completely. Don't use sweet words to cover lies. Just tell me the truth. Are you seeing someone else? No. Amir's voice was desperate, almost anguished. Nadia, I swear on everything I hold sacred, I am not cheating on you. You are the only woman in my heart, the only one I love. Then explain the jewelry. Explain that woman. Explain why you've been so distant and secretive for weeks. Nadia demanded, her hands trembling with emotion. Amir ran his fingers through his dark hair, clearly struggling. I can't. Not yet. Not like this. He saw her face crumble at his words and quickly continued, but I'm begging you, give me until Christmas Eve. Just 2 more days. Let me show you the truth properly. That's what guilty people say when they need time to create better lies, Nadia whispered, wrapping her arms around herself protectively. Amir's eyes glistened with unshed tears. He had never looked more vulnerable. In 2 years together, have I ever broken a serious promise to you? Have I ever given you real reason not to trust me before this month? Nadia wanted to say yes, to justify her suspicions, but honesty forced her to shake her head. Until recently, Amir had been nothing but devoted, patient, and transparent. Then I'm asking you to trust me one more time, Amir pleaded, his voice thick with emotion. Christmas Eve. Meet me at our place, the rooftop where we had our first date. 7 o'clock. I will give you every answer, every truth, every piece of evidence you need. If after that you still believe I've betrayed you, I'll accept whatever you decide. Nadia studied his face, searching for deception but finding only desperate sincerity and fear. Fear of losing her. One chance, she finally whispered. Christmas Eve. But Amir, if you're lying to me. I'm not, he said firmly, though his voice trembled. I swear on my love for you, I'm not. That night, they slept on opposite sides of the bed, the distance between them feeling like an ocean neither knew how to cross. Christmas Eve revelations. Christmas Eve arrived with crisp winter air and a sky full of stars. Nadia climbed the stairs to the rooftop restaurant where she and Amir had shared their first meal 2 years ago. Her heart pounded with anxiety and a fragile thread of hope she was afraid to acknowledge. The rooftop had been transformed. String lights created a canopy of warm golden light overhead. A small table sat in the center, decorated with white roses, her favorite. Candles flickered in glass holders, and the city's Christmas lights twinkled in the distance like earthbound stars. Amir stood beside the table wearing a dark suit, his expression nervous but determined. When their eyes met, Nadia saw the same love she'd fallen for, mixed with fear and vulnerability. Thank you for coming, he said softly as she approached. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't, Nadia admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Amir pulled out her chair, and she sat, her hands folded tightly in her lap. He took the seat across from her and placed a leather-bound journal on the table between them. Before I explain everything, I need you to know something, Amir began, his dark eyes locked on hers. You are the love of my life, Nadia. Every breath I take is better because you're in this world with me. The thought of losing you has been my worst nightmare these past few weeks. He slid the journal across to her. This contains the truth about everything that's made you doubt me. Every suspicious moment, every unexplained absence, every secret phone call. It's all documented here with proof, receipts, messages, photos, dates, times. With trembling fingers, Nadia opened the journal. The first page was dated 3 months ago, with Amir's handwriting explaining his plan. Her eyes widened as she read, December 15th, Nadia's birthday. I want to give her something extraordinary. Not just a gift, but an experience that shows her how deeply I know and cherish her. She turned the page and found a photo of Amir meeting with a young woman from the cafe. Beneath it, an explanation, Meeting with Yasmin Rostami, daughter of my colleague Riza. She's an event planner helping me create the perfect surprise. She's been coordinating with the gallery, the jeweler, and the rooftop venue. Nadia's hand flew to her mouth as realization began to dawn. She flipped through more pages, each one revealing another piece of the puzzle. The receipt for the diamond pendant was accompanied by a photo of the necklace itself, a delicate piece with both their initials intertwined in Arabic calligraphy, hanging from a thin gold chain. The phone calls, Amir explained gently, were me coordinating with Yasmin, with the jeweler who custom-made your necklace, with the musicians I wanted to hire for tonight, and with your gallery director to arrange something special. He pulled out his phone and showed her messages proving every word. Conversations about event planning, timeline coordination, her favorite flowers, her preferred music. The late nights at the office, he continued, his voice thick with emotion. I was actually taking an online course in art history. I wanted to understand your world better, to be able to discuss the paintings and sculptures you love with genuine knowledge instead of just polite interest. He showed her the certificate of completion from a prestigious online academy, dated just 1 week ago. Nadia's tears flowed freely now, not from pain, but from overwhelming relief and shame. Amir, I thought. I know what you thought, Habibti, he said softly, reaching across to gently wipe her tears with his thumb healing through honesty. Amir stood and walked around the table, kneeling beside Nadia's chair. He took her hands in his touch warm and reassuring against her trembling fingers. The city lights below them created a magical backdrop, but all Nadia could focus on was the sincerity radiating from the man she loved. I need you to understand something, Amir said, his voice gentle but firm. I don't blame you for doubting me. Your past taught you that trust can be weaponized against you. But Nadia, I'm not him. I will never be him. Nadia's tears continued to fall as shame washed over her. I'm so sorry. I should have just asked you directly instead of letting my fears control me. I built this entire scenario in my mind based on fragments and assumptions. And I should have communicated better, Amir admitted, squeezing her hands. I was so focused on making everything perfect that I didn't realize how my secrecy was hurting you. I saw you pulling away these past weeks, and it terrified me, but I convinced myself it would all be worth it once you saw the surprise. He reached into his jacket pocket and pulled out a velvet box. Opening it revealed the diamond pendant she'd seen on the receipt, even more beautiful in person. The intertwined initials caught the candlelight, sparkling with delicate artistry. I had this made to symbolize us, Amir explained, his eyes never leaving hers. 2 separate letters, 2 individual people, but intertwined so perfectly that separating them would destroy the design. That's what we are, Nadia. Better together than apart. Fresh tears spilled down Nadia's cheeks as Amir fastened the necklace around her throat. His fingers lingered on her skin, sending familiar warmth through her body. When he returned to face her, she cupped his face in her hands. I love you, she whispered. And I'm sorry I let fear almost destroy what we have. You deserve better than my suspicions and cold shoulders. We both made mistakes, Amir said, turning his head to kiss her palm tenderly. But that's what love is about, working through the mistakes together, learning from them, growing stronger because of them. He stood and helped her to her feet, pulling her into his arms. Nadia melted against his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, the same heartbeat that had always been faithful to her. There's something else I need to tell you, Amir murmured against her hair. Something I've been afraid to say because the timing never felt right, and then everything became so complicated. Nadia pulled back slightly to look up at him, her heart racing with anticipation and residual anxiety. Amir smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. These past weeks, while I was planning all of this, I realized something. I don't want to spend another year just dating you, Nadia. I don't want to wonder if you'll still be here next Christmas or the one after that. I want certainty. I want forever. He reached into his other pocket, and Nadia's breath caught as he produced a second, smaller velvet box. Her hands flew to her mouth as he opened it, revealing a stunning engagement ring, a sapphire surrounded by tiny diamonds, the deep blue stone matching her favorite color. Nadia Karimi, my love, my heart, my home. Amir's voice trembled with emotion as he knelt before her again. "Will you marry me? Will you give me the honor of spending every Christmas, every ordinary Tuesday, every challenging moment and every beautiful sunrise together for the rest of our lives?" Nadia couldn't speak through her tears. She nodded frantically, laughing and crying simultaneously as Amir slipped the ring onto her finger. He stood and swept her into his arms, spinning her around as she wrapped her arms around his neck. When he set her down, their lips met in a kiss that held 2 years of love, weeks of pain, and the promise of forever. It was soft and deep, gentle yet passionate, conveying everything words couldn't express. "Yes," Nadia finally whispered against his lips. "Yes, 1,000 times yes." They stood wrapped in each other's arms as soft music began to play. A string quartet Amir had arranged appeared at the rooftop's entrance, playing the same song that had been playing during their first date. "Dance with me," Amir asked, extending his hand. Nadia placed her hand in his, feeling the weight of both the necklace and the ring, symbols of his devotion and their future. As they swayed together under the starlit sky, she realized that doubt had almost stolen the greatest gift of her life. "I promise to always talk to you first," Nadia said softly as they danced. "To bring my fears to you instead of letting them fester in silence." "And I promise to never keep you in the dark again," Amir replied, pulling her closer. "Even when I want to surprise you, I'll find ways to reassure you of my love and faithfulness." The vulnerability between them felt sacred, two hearts that had nearly broken now healing through honesty and the courage to be completely open with each other. Love reborn. The string quartet played softly as Amir and Nadia continued to sway together, lost in their own world. The December air was cold, but wrapped in each other's embrace, they felt only warmth. Nadia rested her head against Amir's chest, listening to the heartbeat that now belonged to her future husband. "I have one more surprise," Amir whispered, his breath warm against her ear. Nadia laughed softly. "I don't think my heart can handle any more surprises tonight." He smiled and led her to the edge of the rooftop where a telescope had been set up, pointed toward the night sky. "I contacted your gallery director, and she told me about your favorite constellation, Andromeda. I wanted you to see it tonight, on the night we became engaged." Nadia's eyes filled with fresh tears at the thoughtfulness. She looked through the telescope, finding the familiar pattern of stars that had always fascinated her. "You remembered," she whispered in wonder. "I remember everything you tell me, Habibti," Amir said, wrapping his arms around her from behind. "The constellation you love, the way you take your tea, the specific shade of blue that makes you smile, the sound of your laugh when something genuinely amuses you. I've been memorizing you since the day we met." She turned in his arms, her hands sliding up his chest to rest on his shoulders. "Make love to me," she whispered, her eyes dark with desire and renewed connection. "I need to feel close to you again, to erase these weeks of distance." Amir's eyes darkened with matching desire. He had arranged for a private suite connected to the rooftop, a beautifully decorated room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. He lifted Nadia into his arms, carrying her across the threshold as she laughed and kissed his neck. The room was bathed in soft candlelight, rose petals scattered across the bed. Amir set her down gently, his hands trembling slightly as he cupped her face. "I've missed you," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "Not just physically, but this closeness, this intimacy where nothing stands between us." Nadia's fingers worked the buttons of his shirt as she kissed him deeply. "No more walls," she promised between kisses. "No more distance. Just us, honest and whole." Their lovemaking was tender and passionate, a physical expression of their emotional reconciliation. Every touch spoke of apology and forgiveness, every kiss sealed promises of forever. They rediscovered each other slowly, reverently, as if meeting for the first time while also celebrating 2 years of deep knowing. Afterward, they lay tangled together, Nadia's head on Amir's chest as his fingers traced lazy patterns on her bare shoulder. The engagement ring caught the candlelight, sending tiny rainbows dancing across the ceiling. "Tell me about the wedding you imagine," Amir said softly, pressing a kiss to her forehead. Nadia smiled, her fingers playing with the necklace that still rested against her throat. "Small and intimate. Just the people who truly matter to us. Maybe in spring, when everything is blooming and full of new life." "Perfect," Amir agreed. though I'd marry you tomorrow if you wanted. In winter, spring, summer, or fall. In a grand cathedral or a simple courthouse. None of that matters as much as the promise we're making to each other. They talked through the night, sharing dreams and plans, discussing the communication mistakes that had led to their crisis, and establishing new commitments to honesty and openness. As dawn approached, they watched the sunrise together through the windows, the first light of Christmas morning painting the sky in shades of gold and pink. "Merry Christmas, my fiancé," Amir whispered, kissing Nadia's temple. "Merry Christmas, my love," she replied, turning to capture his lips in a sweet kiss. They returned to the rooftop as the city began to wake. The string quartet had long since departed, but the decorations remained, now illuminated by natural light. Nadia stood at the railing, Amir's arms wrapped around her waist, both of them gazing at the city below. "Thank you for fighting for us," Nadia said quietly. "For not giving up when I pushed you away. For having the patience to prove your love instead of just demanding I believe you." "Thank you for giving me the chance," Amir replied. "For showing up tonight even when doubt screamed at you to run. That took courage, Habibti." As church bells rang across the city, celebrating Christmas morning, Nadia and Amir made a silent vow to each other, to choose truth over assumption, communication over silence, and love over fear. Their relationship had been tested by suspicion and nearly broken by misunderstanding, but it had emerged stronger, deeper, and more resilient. The diamond pendant rested against Nadia's heart, the engagement ring sparkled on her finger, and Amir's love surrounded her completely. She had almost lost everything by believing the worst instead of seeking the truth, but grace had given them another chance. "I love you," she whispered, turning to face the man who had become her home. "And I love you," Amir replied, sealing the promise with a kiss as Christmas morning embraced them both. Lessons from this story. First, trust is the foundation of love, but it must be built daily through honest communication and transparency. When doubt creeps in, speak it aloud to your partner rather than letting it poison your heart in silence. Second, love requires vulnerability from both partners, the courage to express fears without accusation and the patience to prove faithfulness without resentment. True intimacy grows when two people choose openness over self-protection. Third, our past wounds can distort our present reality if we let them. Healing means recognizing when old pain is coloring new relationships and consciously choosing to see your partner for who they truly are, not who someone else was. Fourth, forgiveness and grace are the gifts we give not just to our beloved but to ourselves. When love is tested, those who fight for understanding rather than being right discover a bond that can weather any storm and emerge more beautiful than before.